Hey guys, do you know, I was thinking about how thoughts and how thoughts can be in some ways very limiting and very damaging in a way, and restrict you from what you're capable of doing. Do you know, like when it reminded me of when we were kids, when I was a kid, we used to collect. I say collect very generously. We used to collect golf balls from the local from the local golf course, and what we do is if we couldn't sell them back or the golfers wouldn't buy them in a bunch, often we would just use them and we cut into the golf balls. And I don't know if you've ever cut into a golf ball, but when you do, what you find is that it's just a big ball of elastic, just really tightly wound up elastic. And right in the centre of all the elastic is a little tiny bag of like glue or something like that. And I think the little soft bag of glue is basically to start the whole process of rolling the elastic before it's covered with that case. And do you know if I had a golf ball and I threw it against a pane of glass, it would smash the pane of glass. Or if I accidentally threw it at your face, it could damage you, it would break your cheekbone. And do you know if you were to cut into the golf ball, what happens is when it all unwinds and unravels, it kind of loses all of its energy. And it just turns into this big mass of elastic. And if I was to throw it against a pane of glass, it would just fall down the pane of glass, or throw it against someone's face. It would most it would do is probably tickle their face. And I was thinking about thoughts the same way, that these thoughts that start off with an initial thought, just something simple like innocent, even about how you can't do something or how you feel not as good as other people, or even someone suggesting something like that to you. And that's almost like that soft thought, the very first thought. It's almost like that little bag of glue. And then every time you go into a situation and you think to compound that situation, you're winding and winding and winding around this thought. And it's getting tighter and tighter, and the energy is there in it. And it does a lot of damage then. Each and every time that thought comes into your mind, it's a limiting thought, and limits your ability, and limits your quality of life. It limits what you think of yourself. Just like that golf ball doing damage. But when you become aware of how your thinking is only thinking, it's nothing more than a thought. And that just because you thought it doesn't mean that you have to believe it. Kind of gives you that ability to begin to cut into that thought, just like cutting into the golf ball. And as you begin to lessen the power of that thought, it begins to unwind and unravel, and it loses the energy that it has. And it gets to the stage like the golf ball that it doesn't do any damage anymore. And it's all down to you kind of accepting in your mind, understanding how a thought is only a thought. It holds no energy or no power until you decide to believe it, identify with it, or give it that power. So do you know what to do? Have a think, or become aware the next time a thought comes into your mind that tells you something like that you're not good enough, or if it's limiting in any way, if it's causing any damage or in any way. And recognize it as a thought in your mind. And you will begin very quickly to cut through that hard kind of crust that's formed on it. And you begin very quickly to feel it unravel in your mind, to lose its power. And instead of in a situation where you say, I can't do something, or I can't afford something, or no, that's impossible, I could never do it. Because when you use any of those terms, any can'ts whatsoever, what you actually do is you kind of slam the door shut on your imagination. You tell it not even to bother trying. Whereas if those words were replaced with something as simple as, well, how could I do that? Well, how could I afford that? Or how could I solve this? What you actually do is you give your imagination permission to go and search for a solution. You let your mind know that there is a solution, there is a choice. And it just has a way of unraveling all of those negative thoughts that have been restricting you. So do that the next time you're aware of a can't, or a not able to, or a not good enough thought. Just change it into how you can do it, and see how that goes for you. And if you stick with that, I guarantee you, that thought will lose its energy. That old thought will lose its power. Bye for now.